The US Army has just taken delivery of 19 cold-weather all-terrain vehicles, or CATVs, and this is far more significant than it appears. At first glance, these are just tracked transport vehicles heading to the Army Mountain Warfare School in Vermont. But if you zoom out, they reveal something much bigger. The United States is quietly rebuilding its ability to fight in the Arctic. And at the center of that strategy sits one island that has suddenly become impossible to ignore: Greenland. In this video, we look at how these CATVs work, why the US are investing in vehicles for extremely cold climates, and ask if this is a sign of things to come. For decades, the Arctic was treated almost like strategic background noise. Submarines operated beneath the ice. Long-range bombers occasionally crossed polar routes. But for conventional ground forces, the region remained largely inaccessible. The reason was simple: the Arctic defeats logistics. Snow several feet deep, frozen marshland, sea ice that constantly shifts, temperatures capable of disabling engines, draining batteries, thickening lubricants, and making even simple maintenance painfully difficult. Military planners often say that amateurs study tactics while professionals study logistics. The Arctic proves why. Because before you can fight, you have to survive. That is precisely the engineering problem the CATV is designed to solve. Built by BAE Systems, the cold-weather all-terrain vehicle is based on the proven BvS-10 family, already used by several NATO countries. Instead of relying on wheels, it uses two articulated tracked units connected by a central steering joint. That articulation allows the vehicle to flex over broken terrain, distribute its weight across snow and soft ground, and maintain traction where conventional military trucks would simply sink. The design also gives the CATV remarkably low ground pressure, which is a huge deal in the Arctic. In practical terms, the vehicle exerts less pressure on snow than many wheeled military platforms, allowing it to move across terrain that would otherwise be impassable. But mobility is only part of the story. The CATV can carry infantry, ammunition, communications gear, and supplies while remaining operational in temperatures that would rapidly degrade conventional vehicles. And that matters, because the Arctic is changing. Retreating sea ice is gradually opening new maritime routes. Natural resources are becoming easier to access. Strategic shipping lanes are gaining importance. Military planners increasingly view the high north not as an isolated frontier, but as another operational theater. That shift has pulled Greenland into the center of the conversation. Most people think of Greenland as a giant frozen island with a small population and very little activity. Military planners see something else entirely. They see the northern gateway to North America. Greenland sits directly between Europe and North America, right along the routes that shape Atlantic defense and Arctic awareness. Aircraft crossing the Atlantic pass nearby. Submarines moving into the Atlantic often transit through surrounding waters. Missile warning radars gain enormous advantages from its location. It also anchors the GI-UK gap, the Greenland-Iceland-United Kingdom corridor, one of the most important maritime choke points in NATO planning. For decades, NATO has watched this region because it links Russia's northern fleet to the wider Atlantic. Whoever maintains awareness there gains major advantages in anti-submarine warfare, missile warning, and reinforcement of Europe during a crisis. That makes Greenland far more than a remote outpost. It becomes strategic real estate. In recent years, Washington has become more vocal about Greenland's importance. Trump's remarks on Greenland's future created diplomatic friction with Denmark, which governs the island, and sparked concern across parts of Europe. The controversial comments did not change Greenland's status, but they highlighted something deeper. The Arctic has returned to great power competition. Regardless of political rhetoric, the military logic has stayed the same. If the United States expects to operate effectively across Greenland and the wider Arctic, it first needs forces capable of surviving there. That is where the CATV fits into a much larger ecosystem. One vehicle alone changes very little, but combine it with Arctic communications systems, cold weather logistics, specialized engineering equipment, polar-trained infantry, satellite connectivity, and dedicated training schools. And now you begin building something far more powerful. You build an Arctic force. The Vermont Army Mountain Warfare School is a perfect example. This is not simply a driving course for snow vehicles. It teaches soldiers how to navigate mountains, survive prolonged exposure to extreme cold, establish communications, sustain logistics, and continue fighting after the environment itself begins attacking both people and machines. In Arctic warfare, nature is often the first enemy. Future forces are expected to spread out over enormous distances. That creates another logistical challenge. How do you keep dispersed units supplied when there are no roads? How do you evacuate casualties? How do you move ammunition across frozen valleys? How do you reinforce remote observation posts? The CATV is designed to answer exactly those questions. It is not replacing tanks. It is enabling everything around them. The bigger Arctic push also reflects a hard strategic reality. The United States cannot rely on geography to protect it anymore. In a world where long-range missiles, submarines, and bombers can reach across oceans, the far north is no longer empty space. It is a corridor. Greenland sits astride that corridor, which is why mobility on frozen ground is not a niche capability, but a strategic enabler. A force that can move through Greenland can help watch the skies, support sensor networks, reinforce remote positions, and sustain operations in places where conventional infrastructure is thin or non-existent. And that is why the CATV program is so interesting. It is not a headline-grabbing weapons system, but it quietly solves the problem that sits underneath every other Arctic mission: getting people and equipment where they need to go, and keeping them there. That is the kind of capability that turns a policy position into an operational reality. It is the difference between saying the Arctic matters and actually being able to do something about it. Ultimately, the newest CATV deliveries are not really about 19 vehicles. They are about what those vehicles represent. They represent logistics, mobility, persistence, engineering, and perhaps most importantly, intent. Because military strategy rarely begins with missiles, it begins with infrastructure, with training, with supply chains, with the ability to move where others cannot.